Rain had been falling for hours when Daniel Carter pulled his old pickup into the driveway. He was exhausted. At 38, Daniel was raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. He worked during the day repairing heating systems and delivered food at night whenever money was tight. That evening, after paying the electricity bill and buying groceries, he had only $23 left. He was about to enter the house when Lily called from the porch. "Dad, someone is outside." Daniel looked toward the street. Under a broken street lamp stood an elderly woman. She was soaked from head to toe, shivering beneath a thin coat. She held a small handbag against her chest and looked completely lost. Daniel walked toward her. "Ma'am, are you okay?" The woman slowly raised her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I don't know where else to go." Daniel glanced toward the empty street. "Do you have family?" The woman hesitated. "My daughter. Can she come get you?" She doesn't know where I am." Daniel frowned. "Do you remember her phone number?" The woman shook her head. Then she suddenly stumbled. Daniel caught her before she fell. "Dad," Lily shouted. "I've got her." Daniel helped the woman inside. His house was small, only 2 bedrooms, an old kitchen, and a living room with furniture that had clearly seen better years. But Lily immediately brought a blanket. "You can have mine," she said. The woman smiled weakly. "Thank you, sweetheart." Daniel heated some soup while Lily sat beside their unexpected guest. "What's your name?" Lily asked. "Margaret." "I'm Lily." Margaret smiled. "That is a beautiful name." After eating, Margaret fell asleep on the couch. Daniel quietly searched her handbag for identification, hoping to find a phone number. He found an ID card. Her name was Margaret Wilson. Age, 76. Address, an expensive neighborhood across town. Daniel recognized the address. He had repaired heating systems in that neighborhood before. Those houses belonged to people who owned companies, private jets, and enormous estates. He also found a business card. Victoria Wilson, Wilson International. Daniel froze. He knew that name. Victoria Wilson was one of the richest women in the country. A billionaire. Daniel looked at Margaret sleeping peacefully under Lily's blanket. "How did you end up here?" he whispered. The next morning, Margaret woke to the smell of pancakes. Lily had made them. They weren't perfect. One was almost completely burned. But Margaret ate it as if it were the finest breakfast in the world. "You're a wonderful cook," she said. Lily giggled. "Dad burns things more than me." Daniel shook his head. "That's not true." "It is." Margaret laughed. For the first time in days, she looked happy. Later, Daniel asked gently, "Margaret, should I call your daughter?" The woman's smile disappeared. "No." "Why?" "She thinks I belong in a nursing home." Daniel remained silent. "She hired people to take care of me," Margaret continued. "But I wanted to go home. I wanted my old house. I wanted my life." She looked down. "Yesterday, I left. Why didn't you call her?" "Because she wouldn't listen." Daniel understood. He didn't know the details, but he knew what loneliness looked like. He had seen it in his own daughter's eyes after her mother left years earlier. "Stay here until we figure things out," he said. Margaret stared at him. "You barely have enough for yourself." Daniel smiled. "We'll manage." For the next 3 days, Margaret stayed with them. She helped Lily with homework. She taught Daniel an old family recipe. And every evening, they sat together at the tiny kitchen table. For the first time in years, the house felt full. Then, on the 4th morning, 3 black SUVs stopped outside. Men in suits stepped out. Daniel immediately stood in front of Lily. A woman emerged from the middle vehicle. She was elegant, confident, and visibly furious. "Victoria Wilson, where is my mother?" Daniel stepped forward. "She's safe." Victoria stared at him. "You kidnapped her." "What? You heard me." Margaret walked into the room. "Victoria." Her daughter rushed toward her. "Mom, are you all right?" "I am now." Victoria hugged her tightly, then looked at Daniel. "You have no idea what you've done." Daniel's voice remained calm. "I found your mother alone in the rain. You should have called the police." "I tried to understand what she wanted first." Victoria's expression hardened. "You kept a billionaire's mother in your house for 4 days." Daniel laughed bitterly. "I didn't know she was a billionaire when I invited her inside." Silence filled the room. Margaret stepped between them. "Victoria, he saved me. I was trying to protect you. You were trying to control me." Victoria's eyes filled with tears. For a moment, she looked less like a billionaire and more like a frightened daughter. "I lost Dad," she whispered. "I can't lose you too." Margaret softened. "You won't lose me by letting me live." Victoria looked at Daniel. "I owe you." "No, you don't." I want to repay you. Then listen to your mother. Victoria was stunned. Nobody spoke to her that way. Daniel continued. She doesn't need guards around her every minute. She needs someone who listens. Margaret smiled. Victoria looked down. I've been so busy building my company, she whispered, I forgot how to be her daughter. Daniel nodded. That can change. Before leaving, Victoria handed Daniel a card. If you ever need anything. Daniel shook his head. I don't. Months passed. Daniel continued working. One evening, he received a call. Mr. Carter. Yes. This is Wilson International. We'd like to offer you a position. Daniel laughed. I don't think I'm qualified to work for a billionaire. You repaired heating systems for 20 years. We need someone to manage housing projects for our employees. The salary was more than Daniel had ever imagined. But Daniel hesitated. Why me? Victoria's voice came through the phone. Because my mother said you were the first person in years who helped her without asking what she could give you. Daniel accepted. A year later, Daniel wasn't repairing broken heaters in freezing buildings anymore. He was managing affordable housing projects across the country. Lily attended a better school. And Margaret became a regular visitor at their home. One Sunday afternoon, Victoria arrived carrying groceries. She walked into Daniel's kitchen and laughed. You still have this terrible old table? Daniel smiled. Some things shouldn't be replaced. Margaret sat beside Lily. Victoria looked around the little house. I used to think money could fix everything. Daniel poured her a cup of coffee. And now, she smiled. Now I know sometimes all someone needs is a warm room, a bowl of soup, and someone willing to open the door. Daniel looked at Margaret. She raised her cup. To the kindness of strangers. Lily added, and pancakes. Everyone laughed. Outside, rain began falling again. But this time, nobody was standing alone in it.